Hello and good evening. Let's give Jim some love. Ow! We stand for love, yes?
That's right, that's right.
Good evening, I'm Sunny Daye. Welcome to the Revealing Experience. Woo-hoo! Who's been waiting for Wednesday?
Woo! Yeah.
Who else has been waiting for Wednesday? All right. Come on in, we welcome you. Come on in, we welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in. We welcome you.
come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in. We welcome you.
come on in,
Come on in,
come on in,
come on in,
come on in.
come on in.
We welcome you.
Come on in. I have to introduce her, right? This is Mellow Daye. And Mellow Daye is moved by music, so it's going to be tough to have her sit down over there, but she loves going to her mama. There she goes. And she loves visiting with you. So if it so happens that she comes by and gives you a love tap during this evening's revealing experience, just accept it. It's such a wonderful love feeling, especially from such a cute little Mellow. So with that feeling tone of open heart, one love, one life, one peace, one presence, let's sing Reveal, yeah? Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. The joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Every time I open up, peace is what I see.
Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the love in me.
Thank you, Sonny and Jim, for every week of bringing us in with such authentic love and joy. And so let's take that love and that joy and that energy of entering this space and move into that together. For as I breathe into the joy of this evening, I breathe into my recognition that God is here, that God is good, that God is love, that God is everything, and that is simply the truth. And knowing that, I know that that essence and that substance reveals itself to each one here, each one who chose this journey this evening to walk into this space in this time and simply be here to infuse with all that you desire. And recognizing that we are all one, that each of us is part of the one, part of the divine, part of the experience that happens here. I am so grateful and blessed to know that the music and the message and those who put this together are divinely guided, guarded, and supported, and that each one here rests in the peace and the love of that. And I simply allow it to be, and so it is. Good evening. I like it that I get to come on the first Wednesday of the month because I get to bring up the new topic. It's a new month. It's August. And the theme for this month is, it's hot in here. And the book that Sunshine is using to flourish all that she talks about this month is The Eye of the Storm. And that's an I, capital I, not E-Y-E. Embracing Conflict, Creating Peace by Gary Simmons. And the message tonight, I had a little language instruction tonight, and the message tonight is, you talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Is that better? Okay. You talking to me, okay. So I want to just read a couple little short things that seem to dive right in for me with everything that's going on in this wonderful book that we're about to experience through Sunshine's wonderful, wonderful love and light. And I'm reading from the Joyous Living Journal, and I've jumped ahead because the topic was called Insanity, and I liked it. Do you think that if you will just work harder, try again, and keep at it, that things will change? If you are getting the same results in relationships, work, health, and other areas of your life, something actually has to be done different. For things to be different, things have to be different. So what has to change? Change your thought about it. Change your belief about it. Change the way you engage. Change how you act, what you say, or what you do. Yes, you may be uncomfortable, but for things to change, something has to change. That something is you. And then from the book that we're moving into, this one little page crawled out at me today because I've been in the middle of this myself. Resistance is futile. If your soul is a force within you that seeks to push you toward ever-increasing levels of spiritual growth and development, then your resistance to this pressure is what produces discomfort, stress, and ultimately a storm. When you resist the movement of spirit, you create friction, heat, and conflict. When you struggle with conditions that challenge or threaten you, you invariably reinforce their presence in your life. Resistance as an electrical principle is a metaphor for the way conflict arises when aspects of your being get in the way of God's expression. Resistance in electrical terminology is the property of conductivity of an electrical conductor. According to Ohm's law of resistance, the amount of current flow through an electrical conductor is inversely proportional to the amount of resistance in the wire. This means that when resistance is high, current flow is low. Conversely, when resistance approaches zero, current flow approaches infinity. If you consider your consciousness to be a medium through which the divine ideas flow, the factors that limit this flow can be called resistance. Since consciousness is both a creative force and the mediator of your life experience, your perceptions and awareness can function similarly to resistance if they are limiting. For instance, a belief in lack blocks the flow of abundance. Feelings of unworthiness or inadequacy keep you from experiencing love and fulfillment. As you can see, resistance in consciousness can be in the form of thoughts, feelings, or beliefs. Resistance narrows the path through which the energy of being travels. It manifests itself in consciousness as the tendency to push away what feels bad or to hold on to what feels good. Resistance is a conditioned aspect of consciousness that has become integrated into your defense mechanisms and coping strategies. So with that in mind, I would like to, with great love and joy, bring Reverend Sunshine up here to see what she has for us tonight.
Thank you, Jan. Good evening, everybody. What a joy it is to be with you today. Missed you last week. I did. I was on a stage last week, this time, at Asilomar, at our annual conference there. But I gotta tell you, there were like hundreds and hundreds of people there. And I missed being right here. Yeah. No, they weren't you. There were a few of you there, but it wasn't you. You weren't there. So I missed you. I missed you tremendously. And as we come right here to this present moment, how joy-filled I am to simply be with you this evening, and how we get to be in this combination, and how we get to recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life that is that life that God is, that is expressing in, through, and as us right here and right now. Thank you for the reading. It was amazing. I just want to, I want to keep it simple and go, yeah, what she said. Okay, let's pray, Yeah, what she read. August is like one of my favorite months because it's hot and because I like the heat. But it's interesting because when the heat is something external, when it's just about weather, there's things we can do to cool off. There are ways that we can cool down by maybe going indoors where there's air conditioning, jumping in a pool, going to the beach, doing something like that. But believe me when I tell you that when the theme for the month, this month is, it's hot, or it's hot in here, I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about situations in life where we might get hot, meaning filled with anger, or where situations are so close that we are steaming, or where situations are so close to home that it is personal, and it's hot, and it's uncomfortable, and we just don't feel right in our skin, and there's nothing that we can do to relieve that feeling, that sense of being uncomfortable, that sense of something has to change, something's got to give, we've got to move into a different location, to a different state of consciousness, to a different awareness. So when I'm talking about it's hot, I'm talking about recalling in your own mind for a moment situations that you wish you could have handled differently. It could be something that you're currently in. It could be something from the past. But as we explore The Eye of the Storm by Gary Simmons this month, he speaks specifically to embracing conflict and creating peace. I was told once, because I don't know how to read the Chinese characteristics, But I was told that there's a Chinese characteristic around conflict that is a combination of two things. Opportunity, meaning that we have an opportunity to grow and unfold, an opportunity to really move forward, and danger. So opportunity and danger exist in conflict, in that characteristic, that Chinese characteristic of conflict. And when we think about conflict in our own life, we can definitely take a look at how it is indeed an opportunity to move forward, or it also presents this danger that if in fact we don't necessarily handle it correctly or handle it wisely or move into it from a state of consciousness of there's nothing opposing me and that life is for me and not against me, that in fact we're entering the danger zone. And that as we enter into that danger zone, things can go awry. And that as we enter that danger zone, if in fact we are reacting instead of responding, we are actually projecting into our future something that we may not want. See, as we look at the law of attraction and as we look at how life works, whatever it is that I'm thinking or being or doing now is a direct result of something that I was thinking or doing from my past. Where I am today is a direct result of my past. And what I do here right now directly influences my future. So it sets me up. What I do right here and right now, what I'm thinking right here, right now, what I create in my internal mind right here and right now sets up what's going to happen in the future. That's why the future is almost so easy to predict, Gary Simmons talks about. Because what it is that I'm doing now and what I'm setting up for myself right here is going to lay out in the future. That's why our prayer is so indeed powerful, because that which we are focused upon is that which we receive. So it's almost like creating twice. As I create it here in my own consciousness, in my own state of being, then I create it externally. So it's created internally, and then it is created and manifested externally. And so when we look at conflict and when we look at creating peace, we have an opportunity to create peace from the current conflict that's occurring in our life. We have an opportunity to do that if, in fact, what we believe and what we know and what we practice is that there is nothing opposing us. When we know, when we believe and we live from this place that the universe is conspiring for my good. You see, too many times, only because we've been conditioned so, because we've been socialized to be this way, and then what we do is, instead of owning our own stuff, we just say, well, that's how I was raised, and that's what I was taught, so that's what I'm going to continue to do, because that's just the way it is. Our part in this is that we take at face value that which we were taught or socialized or conditioned to think and believe, and we wear it, we carry it with us, we live from that place instead of examining it and looking at it and seeing it for what it's worth. Does it really work? Are people really out to get me? Or is that something that I've been taught? Have I been watching too much television? Have I been brainwashed by society, by race consciousness, to believe that there is an otherness outside of the one power, one presence, one life that is God, that is having its expression in, through, and as my life? Am I really living from the place that my life is indeed that life that God is? Therefore, there is nothing that could ever oppose it. Or do I really believe in separation? Because really, that's the bottom line. When I believe that I'm separate from you, you talking to me? You talking to me? When I believe that you are separate from me, that when I believe that we're not one, when I believe it's us and them, when a conflict arises, you talking to me? And that doesn't come from a place of creating peace. That comes from my deep instilled belief that we're separate. Because if indeed I believed that we were one, and that you are simply the way God is expressing beautifully and magnificently, I wouldn't come from that place of you talking to me. I would know that we're creating peace. I would know that there's harmony. I would know that there's love and kindness. I would know that there's abundance because I'm living from that place of oneness, because I'm steeped in this truth and this knowing. But it is indeed when we are not steeped in this idea of our oneness and our wholeness, that it has already been given, that our life is indeed that life that God is, and it is expressing in, through, and as each and every one of us beautifully and magnificently right now. It's when I am thinking something other than that, that when conflict arises, or seeming conflict arises, that I'm coming from that place of separation, that I enter the danger zone, and that instead of creating peace, I create some otherness. I create more danger, more conflict. So how is it that we as spiritual people, what are we to do and how are we to begin to live in order to create and to know and to be steeped in this wholeness? I was listening to my brother Josh Reeves at the Seal Beach Center for Spiritual Living. He was speaking at a Sillamar this week. And one of the things that stood out to me about his particular talk, and maybe we've all experienced it, and maybe just some of us have experienced it because some of us have ascended and we don't get to experience that anymore. But he talked about being in that place where we know that somebody's against us, or that somebody's lying upon us, or that somebody did us wrong, or that somebody is just messing with us just to mess with us, when we kind of know, even though we have no evidence to prove it, but we know she did it. We know he took it. We know he was talking about me. We know that they're doing it right now, where we just kind of know, and we're in that place of, And the question is, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if you're wrong? Why do I think and feel that way? Isn't it because indeed I believe in separation more than I believe in our oneness and our wholeness? Isn't it because I believe that we're separate from one another? Isn't it because I believe that God is somewhere outside of me, that my wholeness is outside of me, that my peace is outside of me, that my joy is outside of me, that my abundance is outside of me, that my serenity is outside of me? It is indeed because I believe that you are out to get me, or that the world opposes me, or that there's something that's happening against me. It's because somewhere or another, someone told me a lie and I believed it, and I carry it with me like it's some Louis Vuitton or Prada or True Religion. You know, I carry it with me like it's a gold bullion and it has value, when in fact, it is a lie that I have picked up and taken with me and use it and live from that place. In the first chapter, Gary Simmons writes, he's writing about a story, something that happened to him, but someone asked him, can you see how everything that is for you or against you has its roots within you? Everything that is for you or against you has its roots within you. What is it that you believe? Where is it coming from? If it's for you, it originates here. If it's against you, it originates here. There's nothing outside of us. It all originates within me. And that's why, too, my talk title, when I say you talking to me, is really about being in your face. And it's hot in here because sometimes, this month we may get a little uncomfortable because the bottom line is that whatever it is that I think or believe originates within me. It originates with the person sitting in your seat. So if you like what you're getting, continue to do what you do. But if you don't like what you're getting, it starts with you. It starts and ends with you. It originates within you. He says, as you have learned, your wholeness cannot be found outside of you. Are you also willing to see that lack and abundance are not outside of you either? We can't go around blaming others for our lack or praising others for our abundance even. It's all based on the internal. Can you see that your struggle for wholeness and worth has been predicated upon the belief that there are opposing forces at work in your life? Do people, your wife, your children, your parents, colleagues, friends, or even strangers on the street hold a measure of your well-being hostage? Is your well-being held hostage by someone outside of you? Is your wholeness being held by someone outside of you? Oh, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. Because we can no longer blame the world of effects or that outside of us, for there is only one. And the level, to the degree of which I believe that I'm separate from God or separate from humanity or separate from the whole, it is to that degree that I suffer. Because there is no thing that could possibly be against us, for there's only the one. There's only one. One life, one presence. Yes, it expresses as each and every one of us. But when I believe and I'm steeped in that oneness, when I'm steeped in the knowing that life is just simply happening, it is indeed a flow. And there are situations which present themselves for my growth, for the opportunity for me to grow, the opportunity for me to see, the opportunity for you to see where you still believe in separation, where you still believe in lack, where you still believe in limitations. That's what these situations present themselves, so that we might see where we still believe in separation and clean it up and clear it up and make the adjustment. And in your attempts to find yourself, to get what you need or feel safe and okay, must you first gain the cooperation, approval, or acceptance of others? Oops. In your attempt to gain the cooperation, approval, or acceptance of others, how many of us still seek to be good so that we might gain the approval of someone else, instead of simply standing in our own truth and showing up as God, as each and every one of us? It's learned behavior. It's learned from childhood on. And yet what happens is that we take that which we've learned back then that may have worked or maybe not, but we still carry it for today. I remember my third grade teacher, Miss Saltis, my third grade math teacher, Miss Kesselman. And I remember wanting to be so good. I was a chatterbox. Can you imagine that? Me, a chatterbox? I just, started talking. And I remember one day it hit me that I wanted the approval of Miss Kesselman, my math teacher. And I remember she was handing out sheets of paper. She was coming to every desk. And I remember when this was sealed, I was sitting up like this. And when she came and put that sheet of paper on my desk, I pledged to her, because I wanted her approval, Miss Kesselman, I'm not going to be a chatterbox no more. Wanting the approval, seeking outside approval. Where do we learn that from? As adults, what we have an opportunity to do now is through our spiritual practice to recognize the oneness, the wholeness, to recognize that right where we are, God is. That God has created us out of itself. Therefore, that which is true of God is true about us. To recognize and acknowledge and approve of ourselves. To recognize the oneness and the wholeness that it lives here. That potentiality is living in, through, and as me. And that I am created in such a unique way that I am not duplicable. You are not duplicable. There's only one you. God is expressing uniquely as you in this form, in this fashion, never to be repeated again in the same fashion. And instead of us reveling in that, being joyful in that, expressing fully in that, I'm trying to be like Jane. And Jane's trying to be like Robert. And Robert's trying to be like Ed. And Ed's trying to be like Jim. And Jim's trying to be like Sonny. And Sonny trying to be like Joe. Nobody's being themselves. You see what I'm saying? No one is just being and standing in that firmness, in that life, and that vigor, and saying, the life that I am is that life that God is. And I get to live it and express it in a beautiful and magnificent way, knowing that nothing can oppose me, because right where I am, God is. Right where I am, life is. Right where I am, eternality is. Right where I am, love, joy, beauty, magnificence is living in, through, and as me. I am it. It has already been given, and no thing can oppose it. Because if we were all doing the same, we would simply be recognizing and awakening to the truth of who we are. Therefore, our spiritual practice is so key and so important, because we indeed create conflict ourselves, thinking and believing and living from a place where somebody's out to get me, where there's an opposition or an opposing force, or resisting the flow of life itself. And we all know that what we resist persists. And that when we focus upon a particular thing, that is what is made manifest. So indeed, all of our great teachers, all of our avatars, have really stated that there's that you and God are a majority, because there's only the one. And it cannot oppose itself. Life cannot oppose itself. Life is always seeking to reveal itself, to express itself more fully. Mellow Daye could not be contained. She's just seeking to express her divine self by running and doing and being. She's not trying to be a Doberman pincher. She's just being and expressing her Terry Pooh self. And so it is with us, that as we begin to really dive deep into our spiritual practice, into our prayer, into our meditation, where we begin to simply express through sacred service, through our tithing, through our giving, through our redistributing our good, we begin to enjoy our life as the life that God is. We begin to be steeped in this knowing that there's nothing that can separate my life from the life that God is. I've done this before, but I want you to point to the part of who you are where God ends and your life begins. Can't do it. Because it's inseparable. Our life is this life that God is, and it has already been given. All has been given. So it is incumbent upon us to use each and every situation, whether we call it conflict, whether we call it opportunity, whether we think it's danger, to begin to create peace from the place of knowing that our life is that life that God is. Ernest Holmes says that there is one power, one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Now, in this moment. One life. And nothing opposes that life. Nothing, no thing. So where are the places that call you to believe or to think that something is against you? Is it that you're not getting the job that you want, the car that you want, the life that you want, the love that you want, the abundance that you want, the peace that you want, the peace of mind that you want, the health and wholeness that you want? I'm going to step into it and say that it starts from within. And that if you're not getting exactly what it is you want, that you take a look at how you believe that you are separate from your wholeness, how you are separate from your abundance, how you believe that you are separate from peace and peace of mind, how you're separate from joy or love. I will venture to step out and say how there are probably times where you say to a friend or a neighbor, see, I told you I was jacked up. I told you love just runs from me. You see, there goes another one. Bye-bye. You see, I told you I can't hold down a job. You see, I always lose money. Venture to say that we are probably looking for all the ways to prove how we're not one. Instead of looking for all the ways that we are connected. Looking for all the ways that life proves to us that we are having our living and our beingness in God, and that God is living in, through, and as us, that we are in God and God is in us, that we are inseparable. Inseparable. Yeah. That's what we are. Inseparable. There's no separation, and yet our verbiage, our language seems to prove and seems to point to separation, seems to point to an otherness, seems to point to an us and them. And this week, what I'm offering up is that we look at our language, that we look at all the ways that we're trying to prove some otherness, and that we switch that around and begin to say, See how abundant I am? I found a quarter on the floor. Look at that. I'm abundant. I'm abundant. Look, I just got a hug. Hello, I'm loved. And I am lovable. Hello. There it is. Look, that person smiled. I smiled back. Wow, we're one. Wow, I was able to get up and walk around today. I feel whole and healthy. Wow, I can know that 2 and 2 equals 4. I can figure something out. Wow, I have such a sharp mind. I live and have my beingness in the mind of God. I am intelligent. I am smart. All of my needs are met. Now, wow, this joy that I feel. And the more we begin to focus right here on that which is true, and that's why our prayer, our meditation, our contemplation time, our time in the silence is so important, and that we use that time to know that this is our truth, because the more and more I do this in here, when I step out, that is exactly what's being created. And as I step into the future, what's known in time and space as the future, I will then manifest that which I created just a moment ago. If I continue to ponder while I'm driving in my car that there's an otherness, or that are people out to get me, when I come out of that car, that's exactly what I'm going to experience. So it is incumbent upon us, each of us, in as many moments as possible, to stay in that prayerful state, to stay in that state of knowing that there is no thing that opposes us except ourselves. We're the ones who create it. And you know what? We might have not put it there, but we sure are keeping it there. So it's mine. I might have not put it there, but you know what? I could say, excuse me, erase, replace it with the truth. It's my life. I'm the one responsible for it. I'm the one responsible for the content of my consciousness. And that's why we come here, to be reminded of this truth, to support one another in this truth, to have community, that we might come to community and be supported in knowing that right where we are, God is. That the love that God is, I am. That the joy that God is, you are. That there's nothing that separates you from the life that God is. So we're going to go into our quiet time. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to utilize these next few minutes to see ourselves in the light of the truth that we are. So as the room becomes dim, that light is internal. And we're going to shine the light on the truth of who we are. That we are God expressing in this human body. That we are the way God shows up on this planet. That right where I am, love is. Right where I am, peace is. Right where I am, abundance is. Right where I am, wholeness is. That I am the wholeness that I seek. I am the peace that I seek. I am the love that I seek. I am the joy that I seek. I am the harmony that I seek. I am the power that I seek. I am the wisdom that I seek. I am. I am that which thou art, and thou art that which I am. There is no separation. So when seeming conflict arises for us, we are that place of peace. And we sit with that. I am that place of peace, that place of joy, that place of love, that place of wisdom. Right where I am, God is.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. From a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God, I find myself.
So we give thanks for our time in the silence, where we have the opportunity to recognize that our life is indeed that life that God is. And where we have dedicated this time in the silence, not for this very moment, but also for the moments that are to come. That as we have anchored in the truth that our life is that life that God is, that we begin to live it and see it and experience this truth and all other moments. We recognize and are so grateful for our spiritual practice, for our times in prayer and meditation, for our times in sacred service, where we recognize that there is but one life, one power, and that life is that life that God is, and that life is my life right now, and that it is whole, and that it is perfect, and that it is complete, and that it is beautiful and magnificent. And that we get to live from this place each and every moment that we choose to, that it begins within, right here, within me, within each and every one of us. It begins with the consciousness of knowing that nothing, no thing can separate my life from the life that God is. It begins with that consciousness of knowing that God is living, breathing, and having its way in, through, and as our life right now. It begins with that consciousness knowing that nothing opposes us, that the universe is conspiring for our good, that we are indeed the way that love, beauty expresses on this planet. So for this, we give thanks. We give thanks for this knowing. We give thanks for anchoring in this truth, that we might realize it, that it may come to fruition in our experience as we navigate through life, as we navigate through love, as we navigate through our relationships, as we navigate in our workplace, in our home, in our leisure, that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is only one, and that it is living, breathing, and having its way as my life now. So for this, I give thanks, and I allow it to be that place that we live from. It is so, and so it is. Amen. How wonderful it is to be in community meditation and quiet time and silence time, anchoring this truth. The energetic is so powerful and so uplifting and just so anchoring. So thank you so much for your consciousness and for bringing it. You bring it. You bring it. You are it. And so as we move into our conscious giving time, I'd like to invite our ushers forward. Moving into that place of gratitude for that which we have been given. Knowing that we simply are redistributing our good, that we have been so blessed in so many ways that we continue to just move this blessing forward. We bless this community through our gifts, our tithes, our offerings, knowing that we use it not only that we might keep the doors open for ourselves to be here and enjoy and partake of, but so that they are also open and available for others, that the programs and the classes that are here for our edification, that they too are also here for others, that they might indeed recognize their life as the life that God is. So as you hold your gifts and your tithes in your hand and your heart, simply give it your own blessing, knowing that it is indeed multiplied and blessed as we use it here to bless our spiritual community. So ushers, go forth. And as you give, you receive. So please open your hearts and receive the beautiful sunny day.
Well, you can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. But tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? Well, one thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Believe me when I say, shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Oh, oh. Now you can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. But once you tell somebody the way you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. I guess it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel always getting the grease. It's better to shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Believe me when I say, shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. They say in every life, they say the rain will fall, yeah, just like pouring rain. Let your love rain down, make it rain. Love, love, love is sunshine, yeah. You wanna make it rain. Love, Love is sunshine, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just shower the people you love with love and show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will.
Amazing. Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi. Beautiful. Thank you. So this is our time where we get to hear from one of you tonight. One somebody who's ready to just speak to an area of their life that they're willing to let go of and know their wholeness, or an experience that they had. She's upstaging me. An experience that they had where they recognized the separation, but they moved to wholeness. Yes. Ah, great. You are the one. Yeah. Did you all see the way he was stretching? He was like, I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I did speak last week, although you weren't here, so this is my first time actually having conversation with you in this context. So very grateful to be here, and this message is ideal, obviously, for me. And one of the things I greatly appreciate is having the opportunity to experience going through a situation where there's an opportunity to have conflict or a perception of separation, and to practice consciousness and to step into this and to have a community like what we have here to be able to remind ourselves of our wholeness and to consciously practice this. And it takes a lot. We all go through our own different experiences of perception of separation. And one of the things I'm incredibly grateful for is to have a community like this and to have someone like you here to be able to lead this aspect of our community, to be able to recalibrate even the meditation and the conscious practice, to be able to go into consciousness, because there's so many, whether it's subconscious programs, outside influences, unhealthy perceptions to tap into based upon the media or what people might tell us or what might be culturally going on within our work and our communities and our environment, the media, to be able to tap into. And there's so much of that out there, and there's so little of what this type of a community can offer. So I congratulate each one of us for being here to allow just a little space of our week to recalibrate our being. So that's something I'm very grateful for. And so going through some stuff, and it's awesome to be able to practice this as I'm going through it, knowing that truth and having that presence and that peace going through it. So it's really cool. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's my
pleasure.
joy. It's my joy, my joy. And it's so true. That's why we come to spiritual community. At least that's why I come to spiritual community. Is definitely to be reminded, and as you so lovingly said, to recalibrate. To recalibrate, to recognize the truth, to know it, so that we might live from that place. It's so important. And as we dedicate time during the week like this, that's why I don't have meditation before service. And be like, all right, y'all come to meditation if y'all want to. Be like, no, we're meditating. We're going to be in practice together. It's just part of what we do. It doesn't take a whole lot out of our day to do it. And after we come out of it, it's like, wow, it's amazing. And what we do is we recalibrate just by simply being in community together. By the conscious intention to set aside the specific time to be together in this way in community. And so I am indeed so grateful for each and every one of you and how you show up, and that you show up, so that together we are on this journey. It's hot in here. That's August for us. I looked in the bookstore. Jan and I looked in the bookstore before we came in. There are 2 books left. Look at people leaving right now. Let me go get it. There are going to be more books next week as well, but please pick up your copy in our bookstore. We have a couple of copies left. Next week, my talk title is My BFF. Make it mean what you need it to mean. My new BFF. I want to thank Jim Bianchi and Sunny Daye. Thank you so much for the incredible music that you bring. I want to thank Cliff. He's been in the back knowing the wholeness of this service and holding consciousness for us. I want to thank Jan for that wonderful evocation and that wonderful reading. And the both of them, along with other practitioners that are here tonight, will be available for prayer in our chapel. If there's something that is upon your heart, or maybe even just a prayer of gratitude, please avail yourself to a moment to pray with them. Don't leave them in there by themselves, unattended. Please avail yourself to the gift that they are. Want to thank Ed. Thank you, Ed, and Tim and Annette on video tonight. Thank you for those of you at home tuning in on our live stream, and thank you to Jenny so much for all that you do. I so appreciate you, and thank you for showing up tonight. We're going to be here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And it is now time for us to do our closing prayer. So I'm going to invite you to rise.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
Join us in the family room for desserts and conversation.
Living in the heart of this moment, living in the heart of this moment. All we have is even now, living in the heart of this moment. What's done is done. Let tomorrow come. All we have is today. Living in the heart of this moment. Living in the heart of this moment. All we have is here and now. Living in the heart of this moment. Living in the heart of this moment. Living in the heart of this moment.